This is the Sustainable IT Insights channel with David Daoud, hosted on the Bright Talk Network. As a principal analyst at the advisory firm Compliance Standards LLC and host of the Trending Paths podcast, David brings you this new episode exploring the challenges of managing sustainable IT practices. Thank you for tuning in to this latest episode.
Early this week, I was tasked by a client, a large earth-moving equipment manufacturer, to share my assessment of the PC sector. Well, in the months to come, the client plans to launch a wholesale refresh of its PCs and servers and has increased its spending budget for 2025 to accommodate the technological evolutions required by the advent of artificial intelligence, or AI. There is a pilot project underway to assess how the AI PC fits the company's current IT infrastructure and eventually what needs to be done to essentially tweak the said infrastructure if AI is proven to increase productivity and boost security. While my assignment involved a wide array of questions to address, the client also wanted to have a holistic view of where the leading commercial PC vendors stand today and whether the past 3 years' market weakness could erode their ability to support them over the next 5 years and beyond. Think of this as a 10-minute presentation given to the CIO and his team. Not too many intricate details, but just enough of a bird's eye view to understand the current situation. So the crisis facing Intel and the abrupt departure of its CEO clearly added more concerns over the stability of the PC industry and what it means specifically for the stability of the technology supply chain that enterprises rely on for business continuity. The Intel drama will not be addressed here, but I wanted to share with you sort of the gist of what we collectively concluded about the health of the PC industry as a key contributor to the tech sector. Now, let me start with this. Collectively, Dell, HP, and Lenovo accounted for about 58% of global PC shipments in the third quarter of 2024 per IDC, with these vendors being the only vendors with double-digit market shares. Gartner's equivalent figure is 63.5%. Both analyst firms agreed that Q3 was essentially another weak period, with Gartner showing a minus 1.3% year-over-year contraction and IDC showing growth down by 2.4%. While IDC does not release any data on regional performance, Gartner estimated the US market to have grown by 5.6% year-on-year. Not bad. It was driven by double-digit growth from Asian OEMs, Lenovo, Acer, and ASUS. HP managed a healthy plus 4.8%, almost 5%, while Dell showed a flat performance. To note, Dell in particular holds a major position in the commercial sector, with Lenovo likely following and HP behind. Now, collectively, they likely represent the bulk of the enterprise or commercial PC clients market. They are sort of the three biggest companies out there. Now, going beyond these top-line numbers, we saw that the third quarter of 2024, this is the last period where we have official data, was marked by a continuing shift in strategies among the top three vendors, that is, again, Lenovo, Dell, and HP. And by the way, ASUS also reported fairly similar developments in terms of strategic focus, though more focused on markets like consumer and gamers. The results shared by these companies specific to their third quarter earnings show generally a nuanced picture of the industry's trajectory, with each company being largely affected by big macroeconomic challenges, by the growing importance of artificial intelligence, and by evolving consumer and enterprise demands. Now, what these leading PC vendors are suggesting in their latest performance review is that there are still lingering headwinds from prior global disruptions, current global disruptions as well, but they're also reporting some stabilization and growth in key areas. Performance-wise, broadly speaking, Lenovo demonstrated the strongest year-over-year growth of 24% in revenue and 48% in net income. However, this performance was largely fueled by diversifications into non-PC segments and aggressive investments in AI-driven products and solutions. For its part, Dell experienced below expected revenues, but like the previous quarter, it recorded significant strides in AI server sales and AI-enabled product innovations. HP followed a somewhat different path than Dell and Lenovo. While comparatively slower in certain segments, HP appears to focus more its attention on operational efficiencies and service-oriented strategies to sustain profitability. So these are broadly the direction these companies took in the third quarter and the resulting performance they experienced as a result. But what are the areas driving these companies from a strategic perspective? First is clearly AI integration, which emerged as a central theme among all of these PC vendors and others. Lenovo appears to be leading the charge in AI PCs and in hybrid AI solutions. It has been very vocal about its position there and has a much more comprehensive communications campaign to ensure that its stakeholders are aware of what it is doing. Lenovo has been pushing its AI-powered PCs in China, then in Asia, and subsequently it has been expanding its product line globally in an effort to capture a larger share of the anticipated refresh cycle driven by AI advancements. Likewise, Dell has been emphasizing AI servers and infrastructure, highlighting its technology and offerings related to such things as liquid cooling and power efficiency designs, which are likely to be featured in its future ESG reporting and are part of its ESG strategy. While Dell's PC sales were not stellar, its AI server strategy reflects a shift toward high-margin enterprise solutions. HP, which is the second biggest PC vendor in the world with 20.6% market share when you average Gartner and IDC numbers, also signaled intentions to enhance its AI capabilities. However, the company's AI strategy appears somewhat more subdued, and progress is more reserved compared to what we're seeing Lenovo and Dell doing. Secondly is the push for greater diversification. Now, struggling with multi-year global PC market weakness, Lenovo has engaged in an aggressive diversification effort that appears to pay dividends. In fact, the company reported that nearly 46% of its revenue comes from non-PC segments, which include major contributions from cloud infrastructure, from smartphones, and from AI-driven services. Lenovo is obviously not alone in its push for diversification. Dell is also seeing growth from integrated AI solutions, particularly among cloud service providers and enterprises. There, the company remains very focused on enterprise hardware. Third, the three companies and other vendors not covered in this report are predicting a strong refresh cycle resulting from the, as you know, the aging installed base of PCs that were pushed during the COVID era, and the need to retire Windows 10 going into its end of life. The end of support for Windows 10, as you know, is expected to take place or to start on October 2025. And we believe Lenovo is well positioned to benefit potentially significantly from this upcoming refresh cycle. Dell's focus on enterprise AI infrastructure aligns with this trend as well. HP's comparatively conservative approach may limit its immediate gains. Now, all three companies are obviously facing a similar set of challenges, including geopolitical factors, the potential for trade wars, and clearly other external conditions that could directly impact their future performance and impact the supply chains. Each company expressed confidence that they can weather the storm with Lenovo highlighting its geographical diversification and manufacturing capabilities as key factors that would shield it against uncertainty. Dell has been emphasizing supply chain efficiencies to mitigate risks. The fourth takeaway, perhaps, is the challenge gross margins these companies have been facing. Dell, for instance, noted that increased price competition in the commercial PCs has been a problem. Moreover, these companies are also required to spend more and make substantial investments to keep pace with rapid AI adoption. This, as you know, naturally requires significant R&D investments with potential risks tied to evolving customer expectations and technology maturity. So what do we tell our customers? Well, first, on the outlook. What we heard from this significant group of companies, which collectively, as I said, holds about 60% of the global PC market, suggests cautious optimism specific to the outlook. Their statements to their investors and to the analyst community suggest that their optimism is largely driven by assumptions of upcoming high demand for AI integrated solutions and based on an imminent refresh cycle that they believe is going to happen soon. Lenovo sees its strong position in AI PCs and diversification into high growth areas as favorable drivers for its growth in 2025 and obviously beyond. For Dell, the narrative of optimism centers around its pipeline in AI servers and enterprise solutions, seeing continued momentum in the enterprise market. HP may be somehow the laggard in this group, but it too remains optimistic, emphasizing once again operational efficiency and incremental AI adoption as areas that could stabilize its performance going forward, albeit with slower growth potential compared to its peers. So now the question is, as we close the third quarter of 2024 and get closer to 2025, is the PC market entering a transformative phase driven by AI and technological innovation that would result in a new super cycle of growth? That's the billion-dollar question that Wall Street analysts would love to have an answer to. For our end-user clients, essentially IT departments, folks involved in sourcing and procurement, for ESG leaders in enterprises, we tell them to approach the current state of the PC sector with at least three areas of concern. First is technological, then operational objectives, and then thirdly, sustainability objectives. Obviously, there are at least two factors that are going to influence how the next generation of PCs will be managed and how it will impact productivity. The first is the impending refresh cycle, driven by the necessary end of Windows 10 and the replacement of aging PCs. The second is the advent of AI-driven devices. As we engage clients on the demand side, the obvious recommendation is to embrace AI-driven productivity tool. There is no doubt in my mind that all major PC companies and their partners are working on enhancing their product's capabilities based on AI features. As such, IT departments must evaluate how to integrate the next-gen PCs with the aim of improving employee productivity, automating routine tasks, and enabling both content creation and advanced analytics, all while ensuring bulletproof security. Most of our clients are already in the evaluation phase with pilot projects underway to assess the impact on workflows, user experience, and IT support requirement. Their feelings so far, for now, are mixed, with some excitement about what comes next, but also some fear that AI in particular may not be ready for mass deployment due to cost, operational complexity, security concerns, all sorts of practical things that matter to them. We're also seeing a vast number of companies preparing for the end of Windows 10 support, which is taking place almost 1 year from now. The most active organizations are currently undergoing an inventory process to phase out Windows 10 and replace it with Windows 11. A big concern that we see is budget allocation issues that could potentially, certainly actually delay many of these organizations' refreshes. Some IT managers suggest that they may end up facing last-minute financial constraints. Large-scale device refreshes are also a concern for many companies from a practical logistical standpoint, but we remind our clients also to pay special attention to the decommissioning of retired assets. We have been urging them to focus on establishing strong partnerships with ITS and disposition providers or ITAD providers. They must be vetting them through a vetting process that show that they are compliant with regulations, particularly around data security and around environmental considerations. Now, beyond the need to adapt corporate IT infrastructure for proper AI integration, such as ensuring hardware compatibility and providing training and support, we also recommend ESG leaders in particular to become more involved in IT procurement. They must pay special attention to the next generation of computers and other technologies to, well, the purpose here is really to align their sustainability goals. Achieving an efficient sustainability strategy will require partnerships with all sorts of players, from the OEMs on the front end to the ITAD providers on the back end, to define the factors that are part of this so-called circular economy. In practical terms, these tasks are achievable. For example, evaluating the carbon footprint of new devices or assessing end-of-life stages can be accomplished with the collaboration of OEMs and ITAD firms. That's doable. Prioritizing energy efficiency and long-lasting devices to minimize environmental impact are well-documented strategies as well, and it can be very well achieved. Requiring detailed sustainability reporting from vendors to ensure compliance with corporate ESG goals can also be implemented relatively easily. However, what remains extremely difficult is creating a culture of sustainability within any organization. So, in conclusion, overall, 2025 is going to be certainly a challenging year for many, both on the supply and on the demand sides. The PC sector has been facing multiple years of negative growth, and the fate of Intel adds another layer of uncertainty. However, there is hope that AI could become a major driver of growth. For those consuming IT in the enterprise, there will be no shortages of challenges, from understanding AI and the latest technologies to budgeting, staffing, deploying, and managing. Until our next talk, thank you for listening and goodbye.
You just listened to an episode of the Sustainable IT Insights channel. Please subscribe to this channel. More information can be obtained here and on our podcast website at trendingpaths.com. Until our next talk, thank you and goodbye.